In this video, we will explore the different types of calculated columns that you can add to your grade center. To begin, let's look at the average column. An average column would be used to add up and divide by a certain number of columns in your grade center. For example, maybe I want to generate a discussion average for all the discussions students have participated in online. Here I'll just call the column discussion average, and then I'll scroll down here and say selected columns and categories to pick specific columns or categories to average into this number. So here I could pick individual columns from the left-hand side under columns to select and use the right arrow to move them over. Or I can choose a category. Categories are a group of columns. So for example, the discussion category encompasses all discussions in the course site. So if I choose discussion and click the right arrow, I've now pulled in every discussion in the course site with one click instead of picking every individual column along the left-hand side under columns to select. Some people like to use the drop lowest to put in a grade, like drop the one lowest number, but I'll leave that blank. Underneath this box, you can choose calculate as running total, no, to make it so that any discussion a student hasn't participated in and has no grade for counts as 0. If you leave it on yes, it will mean that any discussion a student has no grade for or did not participate in will not count against them. Typically, we recommend setting this to no, and then setting show this column to students to no as well, so that they don't see this average until the end of the semester when all grades are in and finalized. Click submit to add the column, and on the full grade center, your column has been added to the far right side. As you can see, the calculations have been done, and since there's only one discussion in this course, the week 1 discussion, and that was a 95, it just averaged out to 95 for this student. Next up, let's look at the minimum maximum column. This would be used if you had a couple of columns that you just wanted to pull the highest or lowest grade out of. So here I'm going to say week 1 assignments. And then I'm going to choose maximum because I want the highest grade of a series. Choose selected columns and categories. As you'll notice, these are all very similar interfaces. And I'm going to pick everything from week 1 and pull it over to the right-hand side. I'm going to choose running total no, so that anything they didn't do counts as a 0, and then I'm going to press submit. So here, on the far right, we have week 1 assignment. The 95 that this student received is based on the highest of these 3 grades that they were given for the week. So really, it's only between this 95 and this 87. The 95 was higher, so that's the grade that this column chose. If when I grade this week 1 quiz, it comes out to 100, that number would jump up to 100. Now, let's look at total columns. Total columns are pretty simple because all they do is addition. So I'm just going to call this column sum. Under selected columns, I'm going to choose week 1 discussion, assignment, and quiz and pull it over. I'm going to say running total no, so anything they don't do counts as 0, and then click submit. Now here, it's just adding up all of the points that the students got based on whatever I chose. So I chose those 3 assignments. I chose week 1 discussion, assignment, and quiz, and those add up 95 plus 87 to 182. If I give a grade for week 1 quiz of 100, that number would jump up to 282. For people whose grades add up over the course of a semester with small points, this type of column is a useful way to calculate your final grade. Lastly, under calculated column, weighted column. Now this type of column would be for instructors who do weighted final grades. So, for example, if I create a final grade column here and scroll down, I have that familiar column and category interface. I could say final exam is worth 25%, whereas the discussions are worth 30, assignments were worth 40, and participation was worth 5. This will take the final exam grade and make it 25%, participation will be worth 5%, assignments will average out to 40%, discussions will average out to 30%. I'll choose running total no, so anything students don't do is counted against them, and then choose show this column to students no so they can't see it, and then click submit. Now on the far right, the final grade is calculated based on the weights that I provided. Each calculated column has a different purpose, and you might use a mix of all of them in your own grade center. We hope this video was able to help you choose which ones are right for your site.